Hello, good morning, everybody. Then, what I should say, I don't know. Your field, your profession, of course, I cannot say my profession, but I'm just a student of Buddhist philosophy or ancient Indian thought. So we are, what's it, a different field. So I have nothing to say. But meantime, of course, the sports, I think, a very, very important sort of part of human life, and particularly in modern time. So many people, this is very much because of that, they respect or admire. I think people like you, and sometimes these people, some people consider almost like, almost like, I think Hindi word, like devas and devis, or god and goddesses like that. So then, it is my duty to welcome you here. Last 50 years, now 51 years, India, my home. Now 50 years, Arunachal here, Dharamshala, my home. So I welcome you, my second home here. So that's all. Now some questions. Some questions? You have some questions? Yes, I think we met here first time, but whenever I met people, I always feel just like old friend. You see, you are a human being, I'm also a human being. Physically, mentally, emotionally, we are same. And also everybody have same sort of desire, be happy life, successful life. And everyone, I think from the king or from emperor, from queen up to beggar, same right to achieve that. So different field, different way, or different sort of field, individual sort of interest. So they utilize one's own different sort of field or different sort of profession. The goal is same, to achieve happy life. I am Buddhist monk. My main sort of field is Buddhist study, Buddhist philosophy, and usually I describe Buddhist science, Buddhist concept of philosophy, and Buddhist religion. Buddhist religion meant for Buddhist, but Buddhist science and Buddhist philosophy is universal. Non-Buddhist or even non-believer, Buddhist science is useful. So today, well-known, respected scientists, mainly from America, and also Europe, England, German, and Swiss, and Italy, there's a number of scientists. Now, I think now nearly 25 years, regularly we have some sort of meeting or seminar, and now it becomes very clear. Western scientists, I think mainly field of neurobiology, and then psychology, and those specialists for about brain or these things. You see, they have keen interest about relations, brain and emotions. So it's through meditation, through certain sort of, mental thinking, actually you see change. You know, I can't remember the particular name. You see, in brain, in neuron, you see there are some particles actually can increase and change. So these discussions, not for Buddhism. Buddhism is for Buddhist. But Buddhist science, I think Western science come from West, but it is universal. So similarly, some of the ancient Indian thought about mind, about emotion, that's we may call Eastern ancient Indian sort of science of mind. It's universal. So in any way, it's a different sort of profession. Through that way, ultimate aim is to achieve happy life. But then I think my basic belief, you see, that is the most reliable and effective method to bring inner peace, mental calmness, is our own mental attitude. That's clear. Some of my friends, I think most probably billionaire, very rich, but as an individual, very unhappy person. Too much sort of anxiety, too much fear, and too much sort of stress. And because of anxiety, suspicion, distrust, deep inside, lonely feeling. So money failed to bring inner peace. Other hand, those people who materially poor, and meantime, full of knowledge about modernity, but at the same time, maintain calm mind. So that shows in order to bring calm mind, inner peace, main so that was the method or main sort of or technique is to develop proper sort of way of thinking or way of mental attitude. So that I want to share with you. You are celebrity such is look. Celebrity. I don't know that word. But in the other hand, I think he was a quite famous person. But at the same time, that famous person may be in 24 hours a lot of anxiety, a lot of sense of competition, sometimes jealousy also. So therefore, you see, these are the real troublemaker about our inner peace. So there, yeah. Okay. So therefore, even you, I think you have name. Many people, even I think, almost worship to you. But the inner peace is depend on your mental attitude. That I want to tell. I want to share with you. I also have the name Dalai Lama. But real sort of inner peace is never depend on the external thing. Entirely depend on my own way of thinking. So that immense benefit. My life, I think one example, my life, at the age of 16, I lost my freedom. At the age 24, I lost my own country. The last 50, 60 years, I grown up because of the surrounding, very the sad surrounding. But I can keep my peace of mind, not relying on these external factors. There is, so to say, once you develop, now for example, when we face tragedy, on 8th centuries, one Buddhist master of India, he advised, one of his sort of advice, when we face some tragedy, then think about that tragedy. If there is ways, means to overcome that, then no need worry, no need anxiety. Do it, make effort. If the tragedy, no way to overcome, then no use to worry. This is, I think, very, very realistic sort of approach, isn't it? Huh? This is Indian advice, not Tibetan advice, but Indian advice. So therefore, I always describe myself as a student of India. I always describe we Tibetan Chela of India, India's Guru. You Indian, we consider Guru, Guruji. So I think since the 7th, 8th century, Buddhism reached Tibet and maintained, last over 1,000 years, and eventually produced very good master from Tibetan community. So they really, I think, made, significant contribution for Buddha Dharma. So now today, I think as far as Buddha Dharma is concerned, I think Buddhist tradition of Tibet is the best and complete. And Sri Lanka, Thai, this country, oh, wonderful. The Buddhist tradition, very much alive, but mainly Pali tradition. Then China, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, these also is a follower of the Sanskrit tradition. We are common. But as far as knowledge is concerned and practice is concerned, Tibetan tradition is the most complete. As a result of my meeting with many Buddhist brothers, sisters from these countries, after 50 years, I noticed now we Tibetan Buddhism, which we study and practice, now looks really complete. And one, I think, advantage is number of important commentary by Indian masters, such as Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, Dharmakirti, Arya Asanga, Buddhapalita, Vabhavika, and Shantadeva. You see, these masters, I think, they are writing. Some of them, of course, translated in Chinese language available, but some important books not yet translated. So we already now have some project, translation from Tibetan to Chinese language as well as Japanese language. We already have some sort of program. So that means the Tibetan Buddhism is most complete. And because of these, the different commentary, really, and also the way we study very rigorously. I often say telling people, when I, at the age, I think 6, 7 years old, I already started study a Tibetan system, like a Nalanda tradition. Firstly, root text, memorized or learned by heart, root text. Then the important commentary of that, word by word, explained. Then through dialectical way, dialectic sort of debate. So our understanding about Buddha Dharma, very precise, because of, you see, a lot of rigorous effort. So at that time, I was very, very lazy student. So my tutor compelled to keep one whip to threat me. Although they considered me, young Dalai Lama, very holy reincarnation. However, on practical level, the Tibetan masters are very practical person. So my tutor always kept one whip. So that color of that whip, yellow color. So suppose to say, for holy student of Dalai Lama, necessary holy whip. So therefore, you see the color, only color is yellow, holy. But whip is whip. At that time, I have quite enough brain. No, if that holy whip used, then no longer difference of holy pain, just a pain. So therefore, out of fear, I carry study. So like that. So this is just information for you. So wherever I go, I always carry the message of ahimsa, non-violence, and a message of pluralism of religion and harmony, all different religious traditions. These two things are India's tradition. Almost 3,000 years, the concept of ahimsa come, and concept of harmony among different religious traditions. Yeah. So today, I think you all can notice. You see here, beside homegrown different religious tradition, I think all major religious tradition now here in this country. 1,000 years. Of course, occasionally some pocket, some problems happen. That's of course understandable. But basically, I think very good. So therefore, I describe myself as a messenger of India. And then since major portion of my life spent in this country, so I describe myself as a son of India. So that expression creates some irritation in Chinese hardliners' mind. I expressed it truly, what I felt like that. So now some questions. Or some questions, or some comment, some advice, or some criticism. Oh, yes?
What is your favorite sport? Which is your favorite sport?
Which is your favorite sport?
I think almost zero. When I was young, in China, 1954, 55, I started play ping pong. I know something. And I think I must say, one occasion I played with Zhou Enlai, Chinese Prime Minister. Zhou Enlai. I played with him. His right hand is a little sort of problem. So he cannot play right hand and like this way. So I have some sort of hope to defeat him, to beat him, because he said not very good. So once I play with him, like that. Then after came India, the old place there, Sawashram, there, Sawashram. This is one. There was a playground, small. So I play, badminton, sorry. Just to play without knowing the rule. So that's all. So otherwise, of course, I enjoy. So when these famous people, football or cricket or these things, I enjoy. But my such ignorance, I often used to ask sort of my sort of friend or companions, who is winning, who is losing? I don't know, like that. So that's the situation. Now, next question. Yes.
Yes, Guruji, as you said, India is a second home, and you have spent 51 years here.
Yes.
In our country.
Yes.
Why not its first home?
Kasan.
First home.
Ah.
And the second home is
Oh.
First home is
Correct.
first home.
First home, this body, not born in India. Oh. You see, this body, say, born in northeast Tibet area through centuries. You see, many famous masters, you see, come that area. So sometimes we usually call Amdo. We come from Amdo. Kham, Amdo, and Uzang, the three provinces of Tibet. So my place from that northeast province. Nowadays Chinese call Qinghe province. So sometimes we, some scholars from that area, they sometimes, you see, a little bit exaggeration. One I remember is one good scholar in early 60s. You see, he once, you see, told me the all Tibetan masters, because
So he used to say that. He used to say that if there was a Tibetan scholar, great scholar, it must be Amdo.
He wants to see state like that. That's of course exaggeration, not true. So in any way, that's my first home. Then I remained there till my age, as I mentioned earlier, 24. Like that.
Excuse me, the Buddhist religion teaches ignorance. What do you say about ignorance?
Ignorance.
Yes, it says craving and ignorance. Now, what do you say about ignorance?
Ignorance, there are many levels of ignorance. Now, example, my ignorance about these sports. That also ignorance. And I think, and also, you see, due to time, you see, we also have some ignorance whether tomorrow rain come or not. That also kind of ignorance. Many level, conventional level. So I think very purpose of education, I think several years from kindergarten up to university, is supposed to eliminate ignorance, step by step. So in conventional level, you see, the knowledge, knowing the reality is very essential. Our approach, as I mentioned before, our approach should be realistic approach. Then you get the satisfactory result. Whether you follow a realistic approach or rather the unrealistic approach entirely depends on the knowledge. So here knowledge also, now here also I think I often is telling people, calm mind is very essential in order to know the reality. If your mind, because of the creeps away, you mentioned creeps are the chance of
Craving and aversion. Craving and aversion and ignorance.
Oh, cravings were attachment or anger, hatred. So once that emotion strongly developed, and dominant your mind, under such circumstances, you can't see the reality. Even one of my sort of friend, one American scientist, one time I met in Stockholm, in Sweden. Then his age already 84. Now whether he alive or not, I don't know. He's an expert about human mind, human emotion, and brain. So he mentioned to me, when people develop hatred or strong anger, then object appears very negative. So actually, 90% of that negativeness is mental projection. It's very true. So the emotion, destructive, particularly destructive emotion develop, then your mind already biased. You can't see the reality. So in order to know the reality, your mind must be, because of the unbiased, objectively look at the thing. For that, calm mind is very essential. So any event, you must look, in order to know the reality, we must look from different dimensions. One dimension, you can't see the reality. 4 dimensions or 6 dimensions. Then you can see the reality. With fuller knowledge about the reality, then approach. Then become realistic approach. And then another thing, this is Buddhist concept, also related with Buddhist concept. The things are relative. I think that can apply to other religion also. I think, except God, all creatures are relative. God may be absolute from their theistic viewpoint. Of course, non-theistic religion like Buddhism, no idea of God, no idea of creator. Everything due to its own causes and conditions. So Buddha himself, originally just like us, sort of ordinary sentient being. Then eventually, you see, he, due to his own teacher or sort of with the help of other Bodhisattvas or Buddhas, you see, eventually he purified his sort of ignorance, then become enlightened and become Buddha. So there's no creator. So according, I think, the monotheistic religion, I think you can say, oh, except God, all creatures are relative, interdependent, interconnectedness. So that view, very helpful to develop holistic. I think one example, when Iraq sort of crisis started, many people saw the Saddam Hussein is the absolute target. Is it? Once he is removed, then everything okay. But the reality, not like that. Many things interdependent. So once you see the certain action started targeting elimination of Saddam Hussein's power, then the reality much more complex. So it's complications remain. So like our health, even health, just if you take medicine or some physical exercise, not sufficient. We must, for good health, we must include the taking care of peace of mind. Some scientists even say to me, the strong hatred, fear, actually eating our immune system. Peace of mind, very helpful to sustain our immune system. So, for health also, we should have holistic view. And then society, world peace, peaceful family, peaceful sort of community, we must look more holistically, isn't it? Like that. New question?
Yes.
Yes. Although. Yes.
My name is Satish. What is your destiny and how far is the distance and what we have to learn to reach you?
My destination. Destination.
There are three questions.
I am Buddhist. So final destination is Buddhahood. There's no question. My daily prayer, daily practice, meditation, about 4 to 5 hours, meant for that. And then my daily life, daily way of thinking, way of life, should be according to that destination. So that's any sort of believer do like that. Then immediate sort of destination. As a Buddhist practitioner, my body, speech, and mind dedicate well-being of other. There is one prayer wrote by Nagarjuna. You should consider like that, like earth, air, water, and fire or energy. These elements belong to all sentient beings. So you should consider like that. So that means my body, my speech, my mind dedicate for well-being of others. So that's immense benefit to maintain peace of mind. Really, very, very big, helpful. Now, it's my age, now nearly 75. It seems, you see, although it's a sometimes very busy day, but then the late afternoon, it's not much feeling of tiredness because I feel some purposeful day, purposeful life, some benefit to some people. So then feel satisfaction. That day's life at least made some, fulfill some purpose, right? Like that. So that very helpful to reduce tiredness. Like that. So about 2 years ago, I went through surgery, gallbladder, because some stones there and create a lot of trouble. So finally, carried surgery. One sort of one might sort of joke. Since then, I always carry one joke. When I talk, sort of audience, big audience, you see, among the audience, some people may have, the feeling Dalai Lama have some kind of miracle power. And then some people may even feel Dalai Lama have healing power. And for that, since then, scientifically prove Dalai Lama have no healing power. Is it true? Isn't it? Is it true? So like that. So at that time, you see the surgery, at that time, my doctor, specialist, described me as a young patient. And I told him, at that time, my age now already 73. So I told him, I'm not a young patient, I'm quite old. And he mentioned, he knows my age, but your body element looks like in 60. So he described me as a young patient. So this is nothing special for me. Of course, my daily routine, I think, ordinary way, like that. But then, I think, my mental state, quite peaceful. So when that surgery happened, I think about a week or 6 days in the hospital, Gangaram Hospital. So there, the doctors, nurses, they first day, second day, third day, they all become close friends. Everyone really, because of that, feel happy, happy atmosphere, like that. So I think, hopefully, my mental state, quite peaceful mental state. Whether they are a benefit to other or not, it is immense benefit to myself, like that. So that's the destination. And then daily, because of that, daily destination where? No. I think 24 hours is one destination is good sleep. I heard in America, many people facing some problem because of sleep, isn't it? I heard. When I mention about my sleep, then they say, "Oh, how good!" How good, sorry? How lucky? They express how lucky, because it's my daily life. About 6:30, 7:30, then go to sleep till 3:30. So sometimes 8 hours, sometimes 9 hours sleep. Very sound sleep. I think never disturbed, right? So that also is my one destination in daily life. Next question. So here. Yes.
Your Holiness, you spoke about finding inner peace. You look around the room, and I guess in some ways many of us are overachievers. And you mentioned that we are unhappy inside. My issue stems from, as a father, how do I distill the messages that my children are constantly bombarded with, much more than what we got when we grew up, and keep them grounded in reality and help them be good human beings? How do we counsel our children as parents on a daily basis? How do we work with them?
You're from India?
Yes, I am.
What? Indian. I always telling my Indian friend, the combination, modern education and modern technology, and India's 1,000-year-old traditional value, spiritual value, this must come together. Then you can maintain peace of mind. And relations, through that way, relations, parent, children, and brothers, sisters, more human way. Because sometimes, some modern society, isn't it? The relation between parent and children, up to some age, is a close relations. But then afterward, the children settle, then very little contact. Sometimes it's the forget, like that. So now here, as a result of meeting or seminar about the unrest among the youth, or violence among the youth, or problem among the youth, quite a number of occasions I participated. I remember one very clearly, I think in San Francisco. The participants were some psychologists, some social workers, some doctors, I think some scientists, not a religious person. I think me alone, maybe. So there, finally, I think 2 or 3 days we discussed, and finally, all unanimously they agree. One of the main causes of today's the problem among the youth is lack of affection. in the family, in the community. I think just a few days ago, I was in Zurich. This is some discussion with some scientist, some economist. It's a discussion about the recent sort of crisis about the global economy, whether there is some connection with the mental emotions. So these scientists about economy, and bankers, they raise question whether there is some rule in the economic field, whether there is also the rule of the altruism, whether some rule in the modern economic system. Then finally, all discussions, all experts sort of, they are through their own experience, their own sort of analyze, all agree, even in economic field, the altruistic attitude is very much relevant. So there I told, it is quite understandable in modern society, particularly in the West, or in the materialized society, much advanced sort of materialistic sort of society, the concept of compassion, these are altruism, these are sometimes people feel irrelevant. Of course, to religious people, love, compassion, forgiveness, these are relevant. But society as a whole, a normal way, not much sort of relevant, that kind of attitude. So there I told, it's understandable, I feel. 1,000 years, you see, the religion remained very important sort of element in society. Then about last, I think about 2 centuries, the science and then the technology. See, with the help of science and technology now brings immediately positive result. So through prayer will not bring immediately, isn't it? Just hopeful. I pray to God and some good things may come future. No guarantee. But technology, 100% guarantee. If you do this, yes, the next year or next month you get this benefit. So therefore, people, all our interest, all our energy put on technology, science. So the interest about religion, about inner values, a little bit neglected. Now, since later part of 20th century, and now beginning of 21st century, now people, including scientists, or scientists, particularly medical scientists and social scientists, and many fields, now they begin to realize, and also those billionaires, they also realize the value of material thing. There's limitation. With money, you can buy good house, good facility, and you can visit different countries as a holiday, like that. But for inner peace is concerned, money failed to bring inner peace, bring some satisfaction for temporarily, but cannot sort of bring permanent, lasting mental peace. So therefore, now people begin to pay more attention about our basic human values. So then interest about about compassion, altruism, these things. Also, there is one element. You see, people sometimes consider For example, many years ago, one time in then East Germany, West Germany there, one time in West Germany, one minister, you see, some gathering, some meeting, one German minister, you see, we just touch about the moral ethics. Then he told me, moral ethics must be based on religious faith. I didn't sort of respond. Okay. Now, even later, I asked the late Pope John Paul Murray. Now, I asked, the moral ethics must be based on religious faith or not? And he didn't answer. Of course, I love him, I respect him. Great sort of spiritual leader. There's no question. But his lieutenant, one cardinal, you see, then responded, oh, moral authority, moral ethics must be based on religious faith. If I ask further question, what religion? Then his answer quite sure, Catholic. So, of course, that's right. For practitioner of Catholicism, or practitioner of Buddhism, practitioner of Hinduism, yes, I think they feel the real sort of that has a basis of moral ethics is one's own religion, like that. So that's the problem, I feel. So when we talk about these moral ethics, then people consider love, compassion, forgiveness, these are spiritual things. It's related with religion. So I have now say, this is one person may say, oh, I'm non-believer. I have no interest about religion at all. So you see, these matters also, you see, no need to pay attention about these things. These are religious matter. Clear. Yeah, I think that's wrong. Firstly, there must be the moral ethics based on just our common sense, not on religion. So I always describe promotion of moral ethics. There are three ways, should be three ways. Number one, theistic way, believe God, or Brahma, or Shivaji, like that, believe that, and or Allah. And through that way, one way, promote compassion or these moral ethics. Then second, non-theistic, like Jainism and Buddhism. No concept of God, creator, but law of causality. If you harm other, you get negative consequences. If you help other, you get positive consequences. That's the law of causality. That's one way. Now there should be third one. That's a secular way, without touching religion. Simply using our common sense, our common experience, and then latest scientific finding. That's the basis of promotion of inner values. As I already mentioned, you see, inner peace, more compassionate. For inner peace, you have more compassionate attitude here, sense of concern of well-being of other. Then there is no room of harming other. There is no room of cheating other, because you always deliberately, you see, deliberately sort of what's the concern about well-being of other. Clear. So through that way, you can carry your daily life open, transparent, truthful, honest. If deep inside, self-centered attitude, and through that way, a little suspect, little sort of distrust, and you doing something little different, then you cannot be honest, truthful. That brings fear. that destroy inner peace. And human being, as a social animal, in order to build the good cooperation or good community, friendship is very essential. In order to develop friendship, trust is the basis. With full of suspicion, how can develop friendship? Trust is basis. In order to bring trust, transparent, truthful, honest, these are major factors to bring trust. So these are logical sort of approach without touching religion. No matter whether there's next life or not, whether there's God or not, doesn't matter. So long we are here as a social animal. Particularly now this moment, the global economy heavily interdependent. Whether European or Australian economy much depend on Chinese market, isn't it? Like that. And like that, you see, every continent, you see, the economic development much depend on rest of the world. They cannot sort of manage on. They cannot sort of further develop within your own area. So that's the today's reality. Then most important environment issue. No matter how powerful one single nation, you cannot change the weather condition unless whole world work together. I think Copenhagen summit, I think the cause of failure is different nations or important nation. Their top priority is their own nation's interest, and that also short term. And global issue secondary. That's the problem. I often is telling people's problem China, most populated nation, very important nation, but still part of the world. So the Chinese leaders, whether they like it or not, they have to follow the world trend, isn't it? Openness, transparency, free information. These are whole world now, that trend, isn't it? So like that. So therefore, now I think your answer, the answer for your question, I think parents, they must provide maximum affection to your children. And then meantime, I think you should tell your children the importance of loving kindness or altruism, these things. I think there are many sort of selfless Indian. In Zurich, in our sort of scientific meeting, one Indian, I can't remember his name. Actually, one Indian, highly educated, but then you see, he told his own sort of story. One time in a famine in Bihar, then Japrakash Narayan is called Indian youth, come to help, and he one of them, and he joined that sort of team, that group, and he surprised the village. In village, their conditions so poor, so difficult. Then he decided, in spite of his sort of the possibility to join some sort of some work with high salary, he sacrificed that. Then he went to the backward sort of village, and then and sometime then after eventually he set up the call barefoot college in Rajasthan. You see, there, the villager, the illiterate. But he developed such a sort of method through sign language and some training. Number of villager mother and grandmother, now they become great technician and producing solar energy sort of lamp or like that, light. So their whole village, each family now light. And they also can sell. So such work, I think, is really marvelous. So in any way, you see, there are such wonderful Indians who really dedicate the well-being of others. So tell your children these wonderful stories. And then look, Mother Teresa. Yesterday I went to Delhi for lecture on Mother Teresa's Kase. Lecture on Mother Teresa in Gaza, Delhi, Indian Religious University, something like that. So these are examples. If you dedicate well-being of others out of altruism, your own benefit, more cherishing others' well-being, you get maximum award. Not in material sense, but in deep insight, deep satisfaction. And people, of course, appreciate. So I think the proper way. And then also, now, since Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister, one time I raised question whether Indian existing education system, whether really suitable this country or not. Existing education system introduced by British. Of course, wonderful. Now practically in India, English, I think, something almost like the common language in South Indian, North Indian, East Indian, West Indian, isn't it? Hindi, not common. Now I think it's a little better. Otherwise, it's difficult, isn't it? So the English medium, I think, really immense help to Indian nation. China, now they're really catching up. Otherwise, they're backward in that respect. And when I was China, 1954, 55, they always say Russians are most important language. Now that interest, that thinking no longer there. So the British really brought immense benefit to India. However, the system, questionable. So at that time, Indira Gandhi also agreed that. So she eventually, she told me she want to organize few Delhi professors of some universities to discuss about these matter. Then soon she killed. Like that. So nowadays, in America, in Canada, and also Europe, now serious discussion among scholars. Now modern education system not sufficient to pay attention about moral ethics. Modern education only concerned about brain development, knowledge, intelligence, right? Intelligence. Not much pay attention about warm-heartedness. So therefore, there are some kind of movement. You see, how to introduce ethics education in modern school, in modern in modern education. So they are talking. Some people, you see, carrying some research work. I think India also need. So that's, of course, the national level, and also in some extent global level. So eventually, we are very much hoping, you see, eventually, some new sort of what's the subject in modern school, from kindergarten up to university, about moral ethics education. That should be a secular way. If touch religion, then what religion? Then complications there. So the only choice is without touching religion. India's sort of constitution itself is based on secularism, because of India's reality like that. So therefore, hopefully now eventually, find some in education system some class for ethics. Then I think will change some benefit. You see, till that come, when come, I don't know. Maybe after 1 decade or 2 decades, or after my life, I don't know. We're just hoping. So you must pay more attention about these inner value for your children. That's important. Then you must example in the eyes of your children, you and your wife was relation. Occasionally some fight. That's bound to happen. But human way are not very negative, very ill feeling, not that way. Show the child's mind the harmony, friendship, love. This I think important. And with example yourself in the eyes of your children, then explain the value of these things. Like that. And then some books, I think about moral ethics. Let them study, read at least. I think that's the only way. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not an expert. No, thank you. Too long. Thank you. I really enjoy our meeting. Thank you.